Welcome to the Y'all Need Music podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
and we're back again for another episode. This time around, you're stuck with just the two of us. We've kind of spoiled you guys a little bit with a couple of artists the last couple of shows, and now it's just two lonely podcasters.
I think that's why our views went down. I think they liked seeing us.
They missed us.
I think so.
I doubt it.
It
We
was
had
probably because and when we do the three ways or whatever, it skips back and forth and they don't get to see us as much.
It could be, but I'll tell you what, our followers have increased dramatically, and so have our views. So I think you might be wrong on that one. I think they like the other people more than us,
That's probably what it is.
and I can't really blame them. I mean, we're pretty cool fucking dudes, but uh, anytime you can play a guitar, that just makes you that much cooler. I feel like.
Totally. Yeah, and I definitely can't do that.
No, nor can I.
I can't even do Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
No.
I'll get you one of those recorders from third grade, and you can play like Mary Had a Little Lamb. I remember that. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Oh, that's bad. I don't know why I still remember that. We'll start our own band with recorders.
No.
So, any rate, we had Drew Hale on. What a great dude.
Oh, yeah.
Turned out to be an amazing podcast, and then we followed right up with Jake Slay, and that was another great one. Still, a highlight for me was hitting him with "Tell Me About Crossroads Ranch," and just like he was shook,
Mm-hmm.
like what?
Right. Where he's a
So,
ranch hand there for many years, and
yep. So we will be having more artists on. You guys aren't going to be stuck with us every time. So that's the good news. But we do have, episodes that we got to get in, and we can't, record and edit and release podcasts on a regular schedule. When we're doing interviews, those podcasts are a lot longer. The editing is more in depth, and shout out again to Braxton Sheets Outdoors, who's been editing our last couple of episodes. You probably noticed that it's gotten better.
yeah,
Our
absolutely.
other audio video guy
We
sucked.
we finally got that intern that we've been looking for. So
Right.
somebody answered the call and stepped up. So for anybody that needs any audio video needs, Braxton Sheets Outdoor, we'll have a link in the bios for him as well. So
Right.
but yeah, and also on that note too, with having the artists on, I mean, artists and musicians, they're very, very busy people. Their schedule is going far crazier than what ours is going. So trying to line them up and get them on, it's
When we both have full-time jobs as well, and trying to work
right.
around work schedules and everything.
Yep.
So going forward, the plan is to have at least one artist interview a month, possibly two, but we're not going to do more than two a month just because of the turnaround on editing and everything else. It just last few weeks have been crazy for us, and obviously we're growing, and we want to keep going in that direction, and one day we'll have an entire crew that's doing everything, and we'll just pop in and record, and then like everyone will do the rest of the work, and
We'll show up and hang out with the artists, and then
right.
go to the bar with them afterwards. Well,
And then
the
we can do an artist every week at that point.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Maybe we'll have our Nashville studios up and running by then.
right. And so I think, in talking about this, we're going to be doing some other stuff. We're going to be spotlighting some up and coming artists that we've, come across. Maybe you've seen them as well. Maybe you haven't. Just, bands or artists in general that we just think are, good music that you guys would
Yep.
get into. And so there'll be episodes where we're doing that. Obviously, we're going to have some cool stuff on the social medias coming up in regards to the ACMs, and I'm not going to tell you any more about it, but keep an eye on that for some cool stuff that we're doing some different games, I think, with that. But we'll
Shenanigans.
yeah. So
Nice.
that'll be fun. And then obviously we'll do these where we kind of just recap what's going on in the country music world. And sometimes it'll be a lot closer to the event that it happened, and sometimes it'll be, a few days out or a week out. So, you guys will be listening to this next week, not while we're recording. So obviously in the country music world, kind of big thing going on right now is uh, Morgan Wallen and
Chiefs Bar.
Chiefs Bar in Nashville.
I kind of feel like it was like he wasn't at the CMT Awards,
Right.
and he was nominated for a few awards, didn't win any, and it was like he wasn't there, but so he had to like make a splash somewhere else to like, hey, I'm not there to get the recognition, so I better make headlines somewhere else.
I certainly hope that wasn't the case.
No, no.
Uh, yeah, I got my own thoughts on that, and I think that the guy, you know, is a great musician, great songwriter, but he has had some trouble in the past with, being able to make good decisions when he's
Right.
been drinking, and
Hmm.
so I don't think he's going to get any real jail time out of this. Like I'll predict it right now, and you guys can come back and troll me in the comments later on if I'm wrong. But my guess he's going to plead down to a misdemeanor or two. They're going to hit him with the max fines on it, so it's going to be somewhere around $10,000 worth of fines. He's going to probably check himself into some kind of rehab, either inpatient or outpatient, and get some probation out of it, and hopefully learn a lesson, about making better choices, whether you're
Yeah.
drinking or not. Fortunately, I think the biggest thing is that nobody did get
Nobody
hurt.
got hurt. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if anybody of you
So
guys have seen it's 6 stories up of where that rooftop was. And if you've seen a picture of Chiefs Bar, it's up there. I seen a picture the other day where they showed from street level all the way up, and you could see the people standing down there in line. And I mean, they were just tiny, and I was like, that's a long ways up for a chair to come
oh yeah.
heaving over the side of it. That I mean, yeah, absolutely. If somebody, I mean, even if that thing would have broke and shattered, and sent some shrapnel going somewhere, I mean, that's a lot of force and a long ways up. So yeah,
Well, and
yeah,
that
don't
chair was metal too, so it's like,
yeah,
you know,
it's
that
like a
could have
harpoon coming at you.
yeah, it could have definitely messed somebody up. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just, probably by the grace of God that it missed everybody, because who's
Yeah,
thinking of something like that coming down? But
right,
you know,
right.
I think that he'll get it turned around. I think that he's gonna face some consequences, but the people talking, about him going to prison, it's not gonna happen. I mean, it's just not. I'd be flat
Yeah,
out shocked if he does anytime. I think it's going to be, credit for time served for the day that he got booked. And I think it's going to be 2 to 3 years of probation, probably some mandatory, alcohol kind of classes or something, and move on. And, you know, really, that's kind of, my thoughts on everyone. I had this debate actually with one of my kids, and it was like I'm a firm believer in people deserving second chances.
mm-hmm.
I think every one of us at one point or another in our lives has made a stupid choice that looking back on it, we're like, man, what the hell was I thinking? Um, Were we raising our hand for every time we've made a dumb choice? You better keep going. so so like I'm not gonna say it wasn't a big deal at all, but I will say, like, you know those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, because we've all been there, done that, and you know here we are living, better lives, making better choices than,
Right.
the sum of our poor choices in the past. So,
Oh yeah.
uh, I would say people need to think about that because there's been I've seen a lot of negative stuff out there. There's people angry, and I get that, but you know, at the same time, if you do make a mistake, and we're all still capable of doing it even at this point in our lives, right?
Mhm.
Is if you make a mistake, do you want that to define you, or do you want people to show you some grace and say,
Right.
look, shit happens sometimes, and we gotta be able to move on from it
Right. Right.
and go on to other things. So
Right. And I don't think that with him doing that, that he ever had any intentions of doing it on purpose, as far as injuring somebody or throwing it, at the cop or
right.
whatever. I think it was just one of those like, hey, look at, I'm going to be funny or I'm going to be reckless and do it, and then not even really like contemplate like, hey, I'm not just throwing this over the railing of a balcony or like at a bar, just throwing it over into the street. It's dropping 6 stories. So
Well, and some of the reports that I had seen, that he like threw the chair over his head backwards.
all right,
Right. And so he may not even meant to throw it off the top of the
off the
building.
right,
He may not have realized how close. And so,
right.
um, you know, uh, just like people need to give him some grace and move on, I think we should move on and not spend the episode focusing on him,
Right,
because there
right.
there was another cool event this week that took place
Absolutely.
same night, as a matter of fact. So actually last week, by the time you guys are listening to this, and you know, I don't know what your highlights were from the CMT awards, but I've got, one that just stood out to
Stood
me
out to ya?
like no
Hit me
other.
with it. Let's
All
hear it.
right. So I've always thought that the Jelly Roll is great. You watch him during the award shows, and he is like cheerleading, for
Yep.
everybody, like just loving to see people do good. And,
Mhm.
obviously, me, and I always want to see everybody like achieve
Yep.
success.
Yep.
That's a given with Jelly Roll. I think that, you come to expect that. But my man, Cody Johnson, all right, he's amazing anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Artist, he's a, amazing uh performer. I mean, you name it, the guy checks the
Rodeo
boxes.
star.
Yep. And every single award that Jelly Roll won at the CMT Awards, Cody Johnson was up in the same
Same
category up
category.
against him.
Yep.
And there is no doubt in my mind, and I've never met the guy. Maybe one day I will. I'd love to. Um, Cody Johnson is a genuine dude. And if you go back and watch that and look at how he reacts with Jelly
Mhm.
Roll, you see artists sometimes and they're doing the
Yeah.
like, they beat me out. I deserved that more than them. And
Right.
and and their face says it. Even though they're like
Yep.
clapping, their face, you can read it, and they're not happy with the outcome of it.
Mhm.
I don't think that Cody Johnson would have been any happier than what he was had he won.
Had he won, right, yeah.
I don't think so at all. He was genuinely excited for Jelly Roll every single time. Even
Yep.
that third one when he threw up the 3,
He did
and
it for all of them. He went like
right,
that. He did the 2 when Jelly Roll got the second one, and then he
and
did the 3, and
right, and
yeah.
Jelly Roll was behind the stage because he was getting ready to come out and perform, so he didn't hug Cody Johnson that time. But he was still like fist bump,
Mhm.
air, in the air, like, way to go, dude. Like, I'm so happy for you. And his face legitimately said, I'm happy for this guy. Like,
Right.
he was excited. Like, he
Mhm.
wasn't even in the category, and Jelly Roll was his best friend. Like, if you were up
Right.
for an award and you won, and I'd be like, hell yeah, you
Right.
know, but they were in the same categories all
Right.
3
Not like,
times.
"Shit, he just beat me." He's like, "Yeah, he won."
Yeah, and even me, who always wants everyone else to do well. I even tried thinking about that. Like, man, if I was up for 3 awards and so is this other guy, like, throw me a bone. Let me get one of them. Let's
Right.
share them. You can have 2.
Right.
I'm fine with that. Let me get 1,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Come on,
know,
share the
and
wealth.
right? And he was just like, "No, I'm good with like
Yeah, he's like, I
100%."
don't even care. I'm glad he won. Yeah.
Right. It was just incredible to watch, and I've already, said many times I like Cody Johnson. Didn't know that I could like him anymore,
Right.
after CMA Fest last year.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't think it was possible, and I 100% love Cody Johnson to death, way
Yeah.
more than even after last year at CMA Fest.
Right, right. Yeah, and on that same topic with that, what was really cool too was when Jelly Roll did win all those awards, every single time he was talking about Cody Johnson and
Oh yeah, gave
you're
him
my
love every
brother,
time.
like, yeah, and he even said that the video of the year, and he's like, I just want to say, that Painter by Cody Johnson was the best music video I've ever seen.
Right.
Like Jelly Roll's like, I can't believe I won because that video is the best video that I've seen. So and obviously they have developed a special bond in a very short time, and it's very cool to see. I'm even more ecstatic to be seeing them again at Faster Horses here coming up in Michigan in July.
Absolutely.
They're both going to be there as well. So um, another part of Cody Johnson for those of you who haven't seen Cody Johnson in a live concert. Um, he was in the red carpet event before uh, the actual CMT awards. They were interviewing him and talking to him and talking about his performance that he was going to put on. And he said that, yeah, last year, I just kind of sat up there and I was strumming my guitar, even though he was up for performance of the year with him just strumming his guitar and all the lights and phones up there. He
Yep.
said, he goes, I'm going to show you guys what going to a Cody Johnson concert really is. And as soon as he said that, I was like, rock on. Like, they're going to watch him ride that bull across the stage like we seen him at CMA Fest last year.
Right.
And he gets up there and he's doing it. I was like, get ready. He's getting ready to run. And sure enough, he woo and just takes off running across stage. And he's up on the other stage. And just you saw the energy. So if you guys didn't catch the CMT Awards, his performance, definitely go on and watch a YouTube clip of that, because that's what Cody Johnson in concert is really like. Is he is at a rodeo and he is running, and they talk about a lot of people having like huge energy on stage, and it's a lot of newer people that these young kids, these 23 years 3-year-olds having
Bailey Zimmerman.
Bailey Zimmerman having crazy, yeah, it's because he's 23, 22 years old jumping around. Cody Johnson is a professional rodeo uh you know and rancher. His body is beaten broken and he's a little bit older, but he still runs around that stage and puts that energy out. So
Yeah,
for you
he
guys that
he, he
haven't
loves what
seen
he's
him,
doing.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's the same thing. Like he loves what he's doing so much that he doesn't need the award for validation or anything like that. He's just happy that his friends are
Seeing
succeeding.
success. Yeah,
Yeah. So
for
super
sure.
cool. Yeah, that was one of the highlights. Well, his performance, but then yeah, just him throwing up the 2 and the 3 when Jelly Roll was winning.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny on that topic of Jelly Roll. We seen him what, 5 times, 6 times last year,
Yeah, at least 5.
at least 5. And I was talking to Tasha when the award show came up, and I was watching clips all week, and he was like, "Yeah, last year was like my breakout party. Uh, I was super nervous. Now I have friends here, so I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy it." And I was talking to her, and I was like, it was really cool last year to be part of Jelly Roll coming up, and just the sheer excitement and uh just listen to him, the passion that he has in his acceptance speeches and anything that he talks about. He's a motivational speaker,
Right.
And I was like, you know, last year was super cool. I said, are we gonna have the same feels as we had last year? And sure enough, he gets up for his first, you know, he was all joking and laughing and everything, gets up for his first award, and boom, the messages that he sends out, the thanks that he gives, you know, not only to his fans, but Bunny, you know, everybody in his crew. And every single award, he won 3 of them. Every single award, there was a different message. And, you know, we've talked
And
about it. We talked
emotional too, every
in
time.
emotion. Yeah, and we talked about, I actually sent Matt a snap, on the Drew Hale episode. We talked about, men showing emotion, and I sent Matt a snap, and I was, you know, after Jelly Roll got his 3rd one, and, his 3rd one or his 2nd one, and he was speaking, and his voice cracked, like full on, like, cracked, like, total
I'm about to
breakdown.
cry.
It wasn't like, you know, some people can cry on command, or, you know, like talking and get a little teary. Like his voice cracked, like so legit, like he was breaking down. And I sent you a snap, and I said, yep, real men cry. And then I said, yep, he got me too, because as soon as his voice cracked and that, I'm sitting there on the couch like,
Well, he's such a genuine dude,
yeah,
and I think that a lot of that comes from his own personal struggles, and
mm-hmm,
he's talked about that,
absolutely,
at length before, and not feeling worthy, right?
uh-huh.
That, he's this just like broken person.
Right,
And
right.
at the end of the
Nobody's gonna love
day,
me, nobody's gonna want me, and
right, and at the end
to
of the
see the love and
day,
support.
we're all broken people, right?
Mhm.
And the more that kind of stuff is talked about, the more healing can take place, and people can start to feel good about themselves, and not have this mindset of I'm not worthy, because
Right.
the reality is, at the end of the day, every damn one of us is worthy,
There you
right?
go.
And we should never let anyone else tell us that we're not,
Yep.
but more importantly, we have to work on not telling ourselves
Selves.
that
Yeah.
we're not.
There you go.
And
Yep.
and I'm guilty of that. I know you're
Mhm.
guilty of that. Uh, and you and I have had those conversations.
Right.
And
Right.
so that just needs to become more mainstream, I think. And uh, I think that music is probably the best way for that to happen, because it touches, your soul and your feelings and your emotions,
Absolutely.
and so much of it is raw, and like we try and keep that stuff in, but when you hear a certain song or certain lyrics, it takes you to a place, and sometimes that's a dark place,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you don't really have a choice but to let those emotions come out,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that when people do that, they're so much better off long term, right? Because
Right.
you're able to unload those bricks that you're carrying around with you,
Absolutely.
and just drop them off, and say I'm going on. Now,
Yep.
it doesn't mean that one listening to one song one time is going to heal you, but I'm 100% believer that music is healing for
Oh yeah.
sure, and it's just powerful that way, and he recognizes that, I think,
Oh
and
yeah.
sees the impact with the amount of people that come to him, and tell
Right.
him stories and share with him, like, their own struggles,
Yep. Yeah. He said
and
music has saved him from many, many, many times.
right.
Yeah.
So, uh, I think when you have that deep connection with music, and you have that deep connection with your fans, and like I've seen interviews with him and videos with him that weren't even interviews, like somebody backstage
Hmm.
telling him a story, and him being like, I want to hear more. Tell
Yeah.
me more.
Right. Right.
right? And it's not like, we've met several artists over the years, and some, are really cool and like want to like shoot the shit for a little bit with
Mhm.
you. They're all super busy, and I get it. They can't always have time to like.
Right.
He seems to not care though. Like, I'm
Mm-mm.
gonna make the time. I want to hear this story. I want to
Yep.
hug you. I want to, give you some love and give you some words of encouragement. And
Mhm.
I think that just makes the music that much more powerful, because when somebody's genuine, like, you just connect with their music that much
Oh,
more. I
yeah.
think you start to like have all those positive thoughts about who they are as a person, and
Right.
then naturally it just gives you more and more positive thoughts about their music too.
Right, right. If you share the same struggle, or they've gone through what you're going through, or they've been in that dark place, and then yeah, you definitely develop that connection with them and their music, and definitely have a positive outcome from that, hopefully. So,
Yeah, that relatability just goes a long way, because so often, we look at and I'm going to use my girl May Estes right now. Um, you know, she when I was in Nashville, I saw her at the Bluebird. All right, and they're doing this writers round, and three other, it was a single guy, a couple, and then her. So all
hmm,
four of them are on stage, and they're going, one at a time. And so she was the third, act to go,
right,
and each time, so it just kept like rotating around.
right, right.
And I remember her saying like, "Wow, how do I follow that up?"
Hmm.
Right? And so even she has some self-doubt. And it's like, you must not hear yourself the way that I hear you, or that
Right,
other people hear you, because like I I would hate to follow up, playing after her.
right.
And and it's like, I think I might have touched on that a little bit on the Jake Slay episode, but
Hmm.
you know, to tie all that in, that same self-doubt, you and I had talked and be like, man, it would be great to have May Estes on the podcast.
Hmm.
And what did we say? We're gonna wait, right?
Right.
We're gonna wait till we're a little bit bigger,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we're not worthy of having her on,
We're not
right?
worthy.
You know what I mean? Like,
May.
we have that self-doubt too, right?
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah.
um, you know,
Right. We're
we need
small potatoes right now.
we need to wait till we're bigger to ask her, because she's just gonna tell us no. Right. That was the mindset for me. And I think you were, right there with me, similar feelings, of not wanting to get shut down, ask her and be like, nah, I'm gonna pass.
Right.
So, a couple days later, still in Nashville, and see her at the station inn, and talk to her mom after the show. Um, Shout out Darlene, it was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to meet you. You are 100% my kind of people. And I could have sat there and talked to you for another 2 hours, and they could have kicked us out of the place. So, if you're listening, um, it was so good to talk to you. At any rate, after I talked to her mom for a while, Megan and I did, and had her sign a station in poster that I had picked up. You know me, and I like my Opry posters, and
Hmm.
from wherever. And she's like, I'm talking to May, and she's like, "So when are we gonna do a full? When are you guys gonna have me on and do a full podcast?"
Nice.
Right? And I'm like, "Did she just ask that?" Whenever you want, like
Right now.
100%. And
I'll
so
wake
I'm
Jesse up.
I'm trying to play it cool. Like, yeah, I mean, whenever inside,
Let
I'm
me
like,
let me check my calendar.
Right. I'm open for the next 364 days. So, I'm like giddy inside, but I'm not wanting to like show that for her to be like, okay, weirdo. Like, but I love her
Oh, that was
music.
that nervous shaking that you had when you were, filming with her, yeah.
That
So
was
you were
that was
yeah, that
because it
was a
was
giddy
cold.
nerves. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna see and hear this podcast afterwards, but compliments of that. I shake anyway, like anytime. Familial tremors is what it's called. And
Withdrawals from the, you know,
right. Yeah, because I'm drinking
I just keep medicating right here.
I'm drinking my sugar-free water stuff,
Look at that.
and
Steady.
right. So I ordered a gimbal, a cell phone gimbal, and I didn't even tell you this yet, but I told Megan, um, I got to figure out when it comes in, like how to do it and put it on there. But I'm naming that gimbal May in honor of that little bluebird video. So there won't be any more shaking videos when stuff like that happens because
You
I'll
hope
have the
not.
I'll have the gimbal.
When you shake like this, the gimbal doesn't counteract.
Right. So, you know, it just kind of comes full circle where like everyone kind of views themselves right as not quite worthy enough. Um, and at the end of the day, like I said, we all are, but we're all guilty of like not giving ourselves enough credit.
Mhm.
Um, and I think about that sometimes and wonder like, what would we all be capable of if we could erase that self-doubt,
Oh,
right?
I bet.
Whether you're a musician, whether, you're a factory worker, like carpenter, it doesn't matter, right? Uh, whether it's am I a good dad? All of those things are like that self-doubt that we get in our own heads and it lies to us and tells us that we're not worthy or we're not good enough. And at the end of the day, we are. And we
Yeah.
just need to keep reminding ourselves that. And we need to remind our friends of that. Um, and we've talked about our other best friend, Damn It Dan,
Damn it,
on the podcast
Dan.
before. And I'll tell you what, in the past week, um, he has been just an amazing cheerleader, for us in how the
Like,
podcast
with
is
the
growing
skirt
and the
and the pom-poms
episodes
and
and
everything too?
pretty near, yeah.
Pretty near.
not not
I
quite
think some of our
pretty
fans
near,
wanna
but not
see
quite.
I think some of the fans wanna see those pictures up on the Facebooks and the TikToks. Bring it
Right.
on.
Maybe we can get him to take yeah. So, but Dan has just been right there like for the past week, like, man, you guys are really killing it. Like these episodes have been great. The interviews, like he's like, you guys went way deeper and talked about stuff that I would have never even thought would have come up in that interview with Drew Hale. And then
Nice.
same thing with Jake Slay. And just like you guys are growing your social media accounts, you guys are getting more and more followers. Like I love seeing how this is going for you guys. And I'm just like, dude, I love you. Like you are such a good dude. Like to be sitting there giving that like constant positive feedback, right? Because as you and I both know, uh the last couple weeks have been a little rough,
Absolutely.
in regards to the podcast. And you know both episodes almost didn't happen. And uh it was extremely stressful. So to have somebody like in your corner was definitely nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn it, Dan, shout out. I think
Yep.
we, kinda crossed into our other podcast, Y'all Need Help right there, and got into some deeper meaning stuff right there and talking about So you guys will kind of get a little bit of that. We do have another podcast that digs deep a little bit into the more of the helpful side of stuff, but you will get a dose of that. And both y'all need music and y'all need help. So that's
Y'all
a
Need
little
Help is
bonus.
is a mix of like legitimate, like deep conversation, and the real reason that it was called Y'all Need Help was our wives like looking at both of us shaking their head like something's wrong with you guys. Y'all
Yeah,
need help.
yeah.
Because there's some other
There's a lot
stuff
of
on there too.
there's a lot of evil shenanigans on that one. So, but
Right.
so
So
yeah, back to CMT really quick. I had uh when you said the moment that you resonated with, there was one moment that I was really looking forward to that didn't happen, and then the other one, um kind of the highlight of what I thought, and it's no shock and no surprise. um Lainey Wilson, uh her performance, her when she won her awards, and just everything about her, like, she has, Tosh and I talked about it, like, American Idol must be kicking themselves straight in the ass for denying her 7 times,
right.
and never having her. And she is the absolute total package when it comes to a person of her caliber. You know, she can entertain, she can sing, she's got the look, she's got the, how she talks, just everything about her is just so unreal that I looked at Tasha and I was like, she probably, if she keeps on the line that she's going right now, will probably go down as one of the greatest female country artists of all times.
Yeah, well, I think the one of the best things I think about Lainey Wilson is something that she didn't even intend to do. At least I don't think she did. Maybe it was kind of part of the whole plan. Um, the way she's blown up and the way
Hmm.
she has been just an ambassador for country music in
Yeah,
general,
yeah,
um, I think is making it, at least I so hope that it's making it easier for women in country music because there
sure.
is
Oh yeah,
so many amazing talented women, and it's not a big secret that it's always been a little bit tougher road
yeah,
for women in country music.
right.
And I think sometimes that's relatability, right? If you're singing about breaking up with your boyfriend, that's not really something that you or I are going to sing along to, right?
Right.
Or relate to.
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes there's those types of issues, but I've seen, certainly in the last, year to 2 years, country music has definitely welcomed some amazing female talent, and it
Oh,
seems
yeah.
that it's still growing. I don't think we've hit the pinnacle of that yet. And I
Mhm.
think that her demeanor, the way she carries herself in
Oh, yeah.
general,
Everything
her
about her.
music is is certainly making, if I'm a record label executive and you sign her, at least in my mind, I'm thinking I need a Lainey Wilson. I need my Lainey Wilson. Who's that going to
Yeah.
be?
Right.
And if you are a record label executive and you're listening to that, she's out there. And her name is May Estes. She's out there. Her name is Ella Langley. Uh, you know, there and the
Mhm.
list goes on, right? There
Right.
are just some great, great female artists out there that have genuine personalities, just like Lainey Wilson.
Mhm.
They present themselves well. They're good people
Mhm.
in general, and you know, keep welcoming those women into the fold,
Oh,
and let's
absolutely.
see let's see some more careers skyrocket like Lainey Wilson's.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's just total package. Um, just everything about her. I mean, every song has a little different sound to it. And yeah, just blown away again. I mean, it wasn't a doubt that she was going to blow you away, and I mean, she just holds true to that. I mean, I think of the Shania Twains, the Reba McEntires, the Dolly Partons, June Carter's, Trisha Yearwood, the staples of women country music, and you got to put her right there. Um, on that topic with what you were talking about, the biggest shouldn't say kind of disappointment, but of what I didn't see at the CMT is Ella Langley was supposed to do her duet with Ko Wetzel. They were supposed to perform. She did sound check. She was there on Saturday. I saw videos of her like doing her sound check. She was psyched, and she caught some food poisoning. Must have been Saturday night, and basically was sitting in a hotel room in Dallas. Or yeah, Dallas. No,
No,
uh,
Austin.
Austin. Why am I blanking? Yeah, in Austin, and saying this is not where I was supposed to be watching it from. So I was very disappointed to not get to see her performance with Ko Wetzel. Like Matt said, she is a rising star. For those of you who haven't checked out Ella Langley, we've talked about her many times on here. She is on the verge of blowing up, so make sure you guys are checking her out. I think that was kind of like last year. Jelly and Laney said that was their welcome party to country music.
Yeah.
I was like so stoked. This is like Ella. She got 2024 top women in country, and then boom, she's going to be performing at the CMT awards. So I was like, yep, she's doing it. And so, but I did see she's got over 100 shows scheduled for this year.
Oh,
So
she's all over the place.
yeah, touring with many people. So if you guys want to check her out, look up Ella Langley, go to her website, find out where she's touring. If she's coming anywhere near you, definitely somebody to see. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So
the kind of the highlights and the lowlights of the award show.
and I'll give my low light real quick, and then we got to wrap this episode up because we've already gone longer. For me, the low light was, did you hear the amount of people that said that they were in the music capital of the world?
I did.
All
I
right.
don't get it.
I'm gonna tell you
Everybody
guys
said
right
that.
now. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I don't know what made Austin think that they get that title. That
Austin's
is
never been to Nashville, I guess.
that's Nashville. Okay.
Yeah.
And fight me. All right. Like it ain't Austin. All right. When
No,
I think of Austin, I think comedy clubs. Like they got the biggest comedy club around. All right.
I
I
think
don't think of live
barbecue.
music. When I think live music, it's Nashville all
Yeah.
day long, every day.
Yeah.
So
Everybody kept saying that. And I was like, since when did Austin become the music capital?
yeah. So
I
if you
don't even
guys,
know anybody that's come from Austin, Texas that, is a
I know I
big
don't
name in
live
music.
there, but if you guys in the 615 are listening and you need somebody to ride with you, I'm down.
Right. There you go.
We could throw hands, Austin. All right.
Yep. Right.
You ain't the music capital of the world. So
Welcome to
anyway,
Nashville.
right. Y'all need help in Austin. the rest of y'all need music.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in again for another episode. And be watching the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we
Yeah.
got some cool things coming up, some more artist interviews coming up, and it's about to be a damn good year of concerts and just
Yep.
really really cool experiences. So
Yep. Again,
uh
make sure you guys are commenting on our
commenting.
commenting commenting on our socials. Send us a message, email. Like Matt was saying before, we're going to start doing some up and comer, like kind of artist profiles. So if there's somebody out there that you're like, hey, these guys need to check this dude out or this girl out, shoot us a message. Let us know, who you guys are digging right now and who we should be checking out. So another shout out to Braxton Sheets Outdoors for helping us with our video and audio and the whole production of this. What would he be like?
A lifesaver.
Lifesaver. There you go. Production manager.
I mean, he can have whatever title he wants. I'll let him have it. Like,
Right.
it's fine. I'll get him business cards with like whatever flavor lifesaver on there he wants, you know.
There you go.
So yeah, at any rate, thanks again for listening, watching. Braxton, thanks for everything you do. And we'll catch you guys next time on Y'all Need Music.